Welcome back, everybody, to the BeatPak Podcast, your go-to show for upcoming artists and creatives. My name is Nathan, a.k.a. Loco Moco. Whether you're on your morning commute, getting your steps in, or maybe you're just listening for today's guest, I appreciate you guys for being here. Without further ado, let's get into today's show. Our guest today is a singer, songwriter, and producer based in Los Angeles, California. She specializes in a R&B pop hybrid that keeps the listeners on their toes, surprising them with every new song that she puts out. Her voice is extremely versatile, making her a prominent figure in the up-and-coming artist category. Originally from the Bay, but now based in LA, please welcome Izye.
Hello everyone.
Welcome to the show. Thank you so much for being here. Before we even get into it, I got to give a quick shout out to my boy Drew Lira for introducing me to you.
Yes, shout out Drew Lira.
Shout out Drew, man. We've been meeting again to sessions together recently, but like everybody, everyone's been so busy.
Yeah,
it's been hard to get into contact with everybody, but I'm glad that you can be here to do the show with us.
Yeah, thank you again for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Of course. But yeah, let's dive in a little bit. Let's get to know who Izye is. So I know originally you are from the Bay, San Francisco Bay Area.
Yes, I'm from the East Bay.
Gotcha.
Raised.
What was it like growing up in the Bay for like your childhood?
Yeah, I had a really great childhood, honestly. I'm an only child, but my family's very close-knit. I kind of have a smaller family, so yeah, we're really close-knit. You know, it was just me, my mom, and dad. They're both musicians as well, and my mom's mom and dad were also musicians, so music, and they were like my immediate family, so music was always in my life.
Right, that's super cool. So from a young age, music was introduced to you, just singing as well, or just playing instruments, or? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so my maternal grandmother she was an opera singer. She used to sing at the Met in New York. In the 50s. Wow. So she's the only other singer in my family, though. Like, my mom and dad and my grandfather are all instrumentalists. You know, they did different instruments.
Sure, that's awesome.
But for me, I always was a singer and performer.
Gravitated toward your voice. That's amazing. Yeah, it's even in especially when you start getting into music, like when I first started into it, sometimes playing an instrument is hard, but you can hit every note when you're singing it, right? Yeah. So it's like, if you have an idea in your head, your voice is like the most powerful tool you can use. Yeah. So that's incredible. What were some of your earliest memories of being creative and getting into singing?
I like that question. Well, my dad loves to tell me that he knew I was going to be a singer or a musician of some kind, because when I was a kid, I was like 2 maybe when this happened. And my favorite princess when I was little was Princess Aurora. Mm-hmm. And my dad was listening to the radio with me in the car one day when he was driving me to daycare, and I guess they played Tchaikovsky's, I know you, and what would you, Once Upon a Dream? Yeah. And I said to my dad, I was like, Sleeping Beauty! And my dad was like, yeah, okay, cool. And then the song finished, and they were like, and that was Sleeping Beauty by Tchaikovsky. And my dad was like, oh my God.
Yeah, how old were you?
I was like 2.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So from a really young, you just couldn't pick up on those things. Yeah. That's incredible.
And my dad always played R&B for me. Like, I grew up with Donna Summer. Prince was a very big pretty big name in our household. Michael Jackson.
For sure, just the classics.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So huge inspirations coming from that. Mm-hmm. That's incredible. Now, I know you said that your family played instruments as well. Are they also creatively oriented? Like, did they pursue professional creative paths, or was it more of a hobby for them?
It was more of a hobby. My grandpa, before he passed, he was like a professional bass clarinetist.
Gotcha.
But that was kind of like his by night. I'm a bass clarinetist, but during the day he taught in schools. Like, he was a math teacher and professor. Right. So for them, it was always kind of like a side thing. My parents never did it professionally either, but they did it more on the side.
Oh, for sure. I totally get that. It's shout out to my dad, because we had a conversation about this. We were talking about how...
Shout out, Dad.
For real, honestly. He, back in, the days where our parents were growing up, it was not an easy thing to pursue a career in the arts.
No,
it was
not
more,
at all.
It was just like you said, like, you had your day job, and then you pursued your passion on the side, but it was always something that it had to take a little bit of a backseat because at those times the music wasn't paying the bills. So
Yeah.
but it's cool. But like your family supports you and everything like that.
Yes. Well, I would say my parents definitely
For
support
sure.
me.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I think that's
Yeah.
those are like your first initial people you look up to. So
Yeah.
having that support is incredible. It's awesome. So let's jump into the start of your career. When did music go from being kind of a hobby to being something you're like, you know what, maybe I can start doing this more, take this more seriously?
Yeah. Well, I did musical theater growing up. I got put into that at a pretty young age.
Oh yeah.
Just because it all started from like a parent-teacher conference when my
Right.
teacher told my parents that I would get up in the middle of class and like perform for everyone.
Wow.
And
Is that true?
Yes.
That's crazy.
Like I
That's
would
awesome.
literally stand on my desk and just like take everyone's attention, and that's not a teacher teaching first grade. That's really not
Right.
not great.
Right, it's not super ideal.
So my mom found like this local production of Cinderella, and I got into musical theater that way. And because of that, like I started to take vocal lessons, and I did like some dance classes, and I just really enjoyed performing. And I
Gotcha.
knew that was something I wanted to do. And I would say probably when I was a little bit older, like going into high school, I was like, I think this could be something I want to do, but I didn't really know
Right,
what
for sure.
that path was gonna look like.
Yeah.
I didn't know how I'd get there.
I totally get it. It's scary too because especially during that time, like all your friends are applying to go to colleges and like universities.
Yeah.
Like, especially for me, because like I was not book smart at all.
Same.
I could not like get a good grade in class. I could, but like it took so much brain power from me. And so when all these kids are applying these college applications, like, oh, I'm gonna go out of state, and I'm sitting here thinking like, I want to make music. Like
Yeah.
it's a weird experience. It's a weird feeling for sure. Something that only people that have gone through it could really understand.
And also where I'm from too, like the Silicon Valley,
Yeah, a lot of emphasis on
emphasis on school,
School.
and also the school I went to particularly was just a really competitive school.
yeah.
And so when I told people,
Where did you go, if you don't mind me asking?
I grew up in Fremont, which
Okay,
is in the
got
East
you.
Bay. So I went to a school called Irvington High School.
Gotcha.
And even though it was technically the art school, like
Right. Still a lot of
our arts got
emphasis.
no
Yeah, right.
funding, and
A
like
lot of academics
like no
and-
one really cared about the arts.
Really?
I mean, that's not really true, but
is
it was
the
just,
location? It's like
yeah.
primarily the
People were
location?
just really focused on their studies, and like, you
Yeah.
know, Stanford and Berkeley and UC Davis are all
Yeah,
kind
all
of in
that
that
little-
vicinity. So I got a lot growing up as like, oh, you want to go into music? Like, oh, is that like your hobby?
Oh man! Oh,
Like, what do you want to do for work? And I'm like, music. And it's like, oh, that's so cute.
no.
Good luck with that. How's your music thing going? And I'm
Oh,
like, bruh.
dude, the amount of times I've heard that, and then like it's like they're not really asking because they're actually interested. They're asking to be polite. Oh man, that's crazy.
But they're all like that until you eventually make it.
Exactly,
so.
exactly. We'll get into all the stuff you've been doing as well.
Yeah.
Future Nathan, cut this real quick. The mic's kind of blocking your face a little bit.
Okay.
I'm just gonna readjust that for you.
We're going to do a little magic trick.
Exactly.
1, 2, 3.
Super solid.
Wow, look at that magic trick. Did you see that? Look at that editing there.
All right, and we're back, and we're back magically with a new angle of Izye. Awesome. Okay, so Fremont, super competitive as far as academics goes. Yeah, just that whole tribe, that whole NorCal, Stanford area is just insane. Like just as
Yeah.
far as even down here, like there's like it's like the mecca. It's the mecca of colleges and
Yeah.
academics. So I can totally understand that, especially as someone that did you end up going to college or was you just, is this when you moved to LA or?
Yeah, I actually moved to LA to go to college. I went to a
Gotcha.
music college for
Super cool.
a few months, and then the pandemic hit, and then I was online for like a few months, and I was like, I hate this, and I don't
Yeah.
feel like I'm learning anything, and my parents were spending a fortune for me to go there, so I was like, literally, what is the point of this if I'm
Gotcha.
miserable, don't even want to go to my classes? I was starting to hate music and singing,
Yeah.
and that has never been a theme in my life until then.
Yeah,
So-
especially I feel like I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you.
Oh, no worries.
But yeah, like as soon as, for me, I know it's like at school especially, when something was assigned, right? That kind of took a lot of the joy out of me.
Yeah.
Like, oh, like I have to do this, not like I want to do this. So for the longest time, for this, like, for example, like this podcast, I delayed doing it so much, just the podcast in general, and then until something clicked, I'm like, you know what, I want to do this. I want to start this for myself. Versus like when you put something on pen and paper, it makes things like a little bit, like, oh fuck, I have to do it. Even though it's a job, but it's like, at least when I choose to do something, it's like, it's something I don't. It's my choice. It's my choice.
Exactly. There was that pressure, of course, and then there was also, I feel like the school I went to has become more open to it, but at the time, I really wanted to dive deeper into like hip hop, more like production, and I was in a songwriting major, and they wanted me to write my songs on guitar and piano, versus my whole life I'd just been writing my music to beats.
Right.
So
it's a completely different.
It was like I had to learn how to arrange my songs, and I knew nothing except for like basic 3 triad chords.
Right.
And I was just really struggling, and I was like, damn, maybe I'm not cut out for this. But it was not really. I wasn't really given a chance because I was never an instrumentalist.
Right. Your strengths were always in your vocals.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's kind of So I don't mean to. I'm blanking right now, but yeah, music school again. Yeah, it's they were kind of putting you in a box a little bit. Right?
Exactly.
Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how I felt.
For sure, that part. I want to talk more about LA, but before we do, let's. I want to touch a little bit more on some of your Bay, some of the stuff you did in the Bay.
Yeah.
I know. When I think of Bay Area music, I think of like Pilo, like that West Coast sound.
Oh, it's my dream to work with him.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
One day I'm gonna do a song with you, Pilo.
Yeah. What is that like the type of music you were listening to when you're up there, or is there other Bay Area artists that were straying away from that sound that you listen to frequently?
I mean, I love Pilo, obviously. Right. I mean, iconic. But sure. I know a big one. I feel like every girl from the Bay says this, but she really is such inspiration to me as like a person. Artist is Kehlani.
Yep, shout out Kehlani. I didn't even know she was from the Bay. That's
yeah,
cool.
She's from Oakland too.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so, yeah, she's a really big one for me. And there's some new artists that have been emerging. One of them I went to high school with. Her name's Ashley Meta.
Got you.
And then this other girl, Twee.
Yes,
she's from Newark, which is the city right next to Fremont.
Got
so
you.
like,
got you. So a lot of cool talent coming out of there.
Yeah.
And that have come out of there. So
yeah.
It's cool to see that you're coming from that a generation of up-and-coming artists coming out from there.
For sure.
It's super cool.
The Bay is where it's at.
For sure. No, shout out the Bay. Things are kind of rocky up there right now, but there's so much culture, so much rich culture up there.
Yeah, there's a lot of heart there.
Yeah, 100%. So let's talk about some of your major accomplishments now.
Okay.
You had I was doing research on you and like looking through your profiles and some of the articles written about you, which there are a lot of, by the way. We'll get into those as well. Let's even I know we kind of touched on it a little bit, but just moving to LA. That must have been a huge step. Like that's like a complete, it's almost like you're moving to a different state, right? It must have felt incredible.
I mean, like sort of, because it is still California.
Right.
So when I moved here, I was honestly like, get me out of the Bay. I'm so ready to move on in my new life in LA. Like I was so ready to get out of there.
Oh, for sure.
Now I actually love going back up to the Bay Area and it feels like home. But at the time I was like, get me out of here.
I get it. No, it's, I think there's like that LA dream, right?
Yeah.
It's like everyone wants to come out here to make it happen.
No, like when I first came to LA, I mean, I still love it down here. Yeah. But yeah, that was definitely a big transition because, I mean, I came down here from college and then I dropped out of college. Right. And at the time, I lived in Pasadena.
Gotcha.
Because that's where my school was. And after I dropped out, one of my best friends was like, I want to move out to Hollywood, but I need a roommate. And I was like, I'll be a roommate.
Screw it. Let's just go.
So and of course, this was like mid-pandemic, mid-2020. So we found an apartment in like the heart of WeHo, really nice area.
Yeah. Good
deal because it was the COVID prices.
Yeah, COVID pricing. Yeah, the bottom of the barrel right there.
So we moved out there, and I love Hollywood so much. Yeah. At the time I worked like at restaurants, and the first restaurant I worked at is actually where I met my first producer. and
Wow.
mentor. He like came in randomly as like a DoorDash order, and we just like hit it off.
Yeah, like you're making. Wow, that's incredible.
I
That's
know,
awesome.
it was literally like right place, right
Yeah,
time.
everything. Like I love to think about those kind of situations because everything happens for a reason.
Yeah,
So
100%.
you were meant to be there at that time. That
I actually
place.
met Twee, the Bay Area artist.
Yeah.
She came into that restaurant, and I was like, "Hey."
Wow. That's like a hot spot. That's like a
Yeah.
hot spot. What restaurant is this?
I don't work there anymore, but it was Granville.
Granville.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Man, it seems like a hot spot for a lot of those
Yeah.
music stuff. So that's super sick. Do you have any advice for kids that are maybe live out of state or in the Bay Area that are considering or want to move to LA? Do you have any advice for someone that's just getting started? Like,
Moved to LA for music?
yeah, someone that's like, you know what, I want to chase my dreams. How do I get started?
Yeah. Well, I'm going to be 1,000% honest with you and tell you that it's not easy. So if you're coming down here and expecting it to be a smooth ride, then you should choose another career path. And I say that with the utmost love because I have faced a lot of great things and I've also faced a lot of really disappointing things. However, if your love for music can surpass through all of that, then I say go for it.
I love the honesty. I love the realness for sure. That's exactly what it is. It's painted. This place is painted as like the glory. Like hey, you get here. Like if I get here, then I can make it. Right. Like I think a lot of artists and people, they come here expecting people just to like hand them a record deal.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's where people get stuck because they're like, okay, I moved to LA. Where are all the opportunities? And it's like,
Right.
well, what do you do all day?
Exactly.
Are you sitting on your couch?
Right.
And are you like actively going out, trying to meet people, going on backstage, looking for jobs, like it takes effort.
Yeah.
And if you're not willing to put in that effort and try, then I don't,
Exactly.
it can be tough.
The same way you make it out here is the same way you would make it anywhere else. Just like good products, good branding, and consistency.
Yeah.
And like that's the same way you'd make it anywhere. So
There's no like special formula to it. It's just
exactly. Obviously, there's a lot of networking opportunities. You'll meet a lot of people, but you only will get as much as you put in.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Thank you for spelling that. It's I think big part of this podcast is that we, interviewing up and coming artists and then hoping to give advice to the people that are trying to make it. So, you're in the process of it, and so it's cool to see your journey.
Yeah.
It's super sick.
Thank you.
Cool. Let's go on to some of your music.
Let's do it.
A lot of some of your recent stuff as well. You've been popping off recently, dude. You've been doing a lot of cool shit.
Thank you.
Let's talk about your song Selena.
Yeah.
It's done 64,000 streams on Spotify.
I know,
which
isn't
is
that crazy?
Incredible. I think you dropped it in June, right? Was it June? I think?
July.
July. That's like 3 months?
Yeah.
4 months. That's incredible. That's
Yeah.
incredible. Let's talk about that song. Give me some background on that song as far as writing it and like what made you want to release that as a single.
Yeah. So, so the song I actually wrote because there was this person that I found very attractive. And I was like, oh my God, he's so hot. But he was in a very long-term committed relationship.
Yeah.
So I wrote the song kind of as a joke. I would never, okay, I am not condemning to do what I say in the song. And I myself would not do that.
It's just those intrusive thoughts. It's those thoughts. Like,
intrusive thoughts, and it makes really good song content. Come on now.
That part, exactly.
So, yeah, I kind of just made it really because I thought I don't know, just me being messy and funny, but
For sure.
yeah.
It's mad relatable. And I'm sure, the song, the numbers speak for themselves. Like, you've got a lot of people can relate to that. But that's super sick, dude. Yeah, 64,000 in a few months, no joke. So
Yeah.
big congratulations to that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Let's also talk about your most recent project as well, that Fuckboys Get Money.
Yes.
Right? All right. What was so how many songs are on there? I think there's
7.
7? I was like 7 or 8. That project is also, it also features Tiramisu, which I had the pleasure of seeing live.
Yes.
Which is awesome. What how long was that project in the works before you were able to release it?
It's hard to say because I I knew I had like the title, the Fuck Boys Get Money title,
Right,
because I was like, I'm in my Fuck Boys, I'm getting money era. So that was I was over the heartbreak and I was just focusing on getting the bag. So that's where the name came from.
For sure.
But the songs are really kind of accumulated from like the past few years. Like one of the songs, Your Girl, I wrote that when I was 17.
Right.
So that I've been sitting on for a really long time. However, other songs like Now You Got Your Way, Bad for Me, you know, I wrote those songs pretty recently. So
Right, for sure.
I would say it's been like the past 3 years or so.
Got you. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's a good accumulation of all that work
Yeah.
coming into its one. That's awesome. You know, because I know writing music is just such a crazy experience, you know, because some days you're feeling like you're the fucking greatest person in the world, and some days you're just feeling super low.
Yeah.
You know, so it's cool to see like the different emotions and the different tracks that you're able to put on, as well as your diversity on some of the music. You know, the articles really tell it all. So
Yeah.
it is incredible. Now I know we'll probably talk about it in a little bit. You obviously have some stuff in the works, and now I've seen you in the studio.
Of course I do.
We'll talk about that. We'll talk more about that in a little bit. But yeah, dude, what are your favorite songs off the tape?
Off the tape?
Yeah.
Honestly, that's such a hard one.
I know.
Okay.
It's like trying to pick your favorite kid.
Yeah. I mean, you can't go wrong with Drip. That one's so iconic.
Yeah. In the music video too, super sick.
Thank
Super
you.
sick.
I'm so proud of that. That was my first ever music video.
Yeah.
And
Really?
yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Dude, you're a natural performer, so it's like it felt like you've been doing it for a while.
Thank you.
When I went on the article about it and I watched the video, I was like, oh, this must have been like their like 15th music video. Like you seem super comfortable.
No,
So.
that was my first. Yeah.
Wow, that's incredible. That's awesome. So Drip number 1, or not even in any order. So Drip is there.
I think a really underrated one is FWMF, which is called Fucking With My Feelings.
There you go.
I really think that one's underrated. And then this one's really special to me, which is the last track called Now You Got Your Way. That was the last track I wrote for the album, or mixtape, I guess.
Right.
That one's really special to me.
Got you.
Because I feel like it's a good sum up of what exactly I was feeling. Because I was like going through this breakup and going through like the different stages of grief, and that was kind of like the ending of like.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a good conclusion.
Yeah.
Like a little bit of closure. I
Yeah.
imagine. That's awesome. Is the album about one specific person, or is it? Or is it more like your process of getting through a certain situation?
Yeah. The only songs that are not about the person would be Your Girl, because I wrote that when I was 17,
Right.
and Drip, because I wrote that about someone else.
We'll keep everyone curious. We'll keep everyone curious with that.
But
That's
the
awesome.
rest of them are all about the same person, yeah.
There you go. I think, music is just an art form, which is, I've had some situations where I've been fucked over for sure, and so music has allowed me to get closure without, going to them for closure. So,
music, that album was made because it was like music became like my shoulder to cry on, and being in the shoulder, being in the studio, not being in the shoulder.
being in the studio and having
Yes.
that outlet
Yeah.
for you to release. That's awesome. That's incredible, man. Super sick. So obviously, if for any of you guys that are watching this right now and you haven't listened to the album, check it out right now. The link's gonna be in the description. Check it out.
You should do it. It's kind of fire. I don't know.
Check
maybe.
it out. And all the music videos too. She's been killing it recently. Awesome. So let's go on to some of the articles. I've had I went onto your website. Great website, by the way.
Thanks. My mom made it. I'm sure she'll love to hear that.
Your mom did a great job. Like just looking at it, everything was so organized, and like everything was super concise. Like, cause
Awesome.
me and my team are building a website right now, and it's so hard to like try and figure out the best way to brand yourself. Because that's the first thing people see. And to any artist out there right now that's trying to make that next step, make a website. Make a website. For
Yes, facts.
sure. Yeah, I mean, just having that all-in-one hub for people to reach out to you. And
Especially like when you get to times when people are like, link all of your social media, versus if you just have a website, like you have all your links already there.
Exactly. Because
Makes it easier.
because I've been using those link trees for a while, but those kind of get a little unorganized. So if you have a
Yeah.
website, you're able to like, it's like a good, concise way. It's like a resume almost.
Yeah.
It's a resume to put everything all in
Exactly,
one place.
yeah.
So, but yeah, big shout outs to Mama Izye for making a great website.
Shout out my mom. Shout out Martha. Let's call her by name. Shout out Queen Martha.
Shout out Queen Martha for making a great website. You know, maybe I'll be hitting you up for mine.
Yes.
But super incredible. But let's talk about the articles.
Let's do it.
So you've had 8 articles written about you, which is pretty insane. How do you reach out to those published? Do you reach out to them, or do they reach out to you as far as writing one for you?
Actually, I went through a marketing company. I've worked with a few different ones, but the one most recently I've been working with, they're called C4N2 Agency.
Gotcha.
I've been working with them for like the past year or so, and they've been helping me get playlisted, which
Awesome.
is how they helped Selena get so many streams. They helped me get added onto playlists
Super cool.
to help find some people, you know, to like listen to my song or whatever.
There you go.
And same with articles, because they have a lot of connections with like different media outlets, as well as even like smaller media outlets, which honestly I kind of prefer, because I like working with smaller brands, because then it's like
yeah, it's a little
all
more
tide,
intimate.
all ships rides with the tide, or whatever that saying goes, you know.
Exactly. Everyone's going up together.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And you're saying, so you're working with an agency. Do you have a manager as well, or are you kind of is it just the agency?
I'm my manager.
There you go. A one-woman show. That's
Yes.
awesome. So you're working with this agency. What's been so of the 8 articles? What's been like your favorite, or do you have like do you have like ones that like really stuck out to you?
I think the 2 that really, well, I think I have like 1 or 2 from LA Weekly. That one was like really special to me, because I was like, oh my God,
Yeah,
I'm on
that's
LA
huge.
Weekly.
LA Weekly. Yeah, it's like, Mom, I made it.
I
Dad,
know.
I made it. I'm in LA Weekly.
I
That's
know.
so sick.
That one
That's
was, because
serious.
one of them was like 10 artists to look out for, and for LA Weekly.
I seen that one, the 10 upcoming artists.
Yeah,
Yes,
so
that's
that one made
super
me
sick.
feel really good.
No, for
Another
sure.
one was another recent one. It's called I think it's called Swanadown. I'm so sorry if I'm butchering that.
No worries. We'll
But-
put the article right here.
Right here. But they did an album review, actually.
Whoa, that's so
Yeah.
sick.
So that was really cool,
Oh, the
because
Fuck Boys Get Money?
Yeah.
That's so fire.
because
That's
I've
so sick.
only heard people, you know, review like Drip or Tiramisu or Selena, which are like the main singles I was pushing.
Right.
But it was nice to hear someone talk about, you know, like Patty Cakes or Bad for Me, Fucking With My Feelings, and
Yeah.
like acknowledge those songs, which I'm also
Yeah,
proud
and the
of.
project as a whole too.
Yeah.
Which is incredible. Yeah, I mean, you gotta really believe in someone to really sit down and listen to their whole album. So
Yeah.
that's incredible.
Yeah.
That's awesome, dude. Now with that, as I know you said you have an agency, would you recommend people going with an agency as far as reaching out to those outlets?
I think it depends on what you want out of it. Because for me, I was really struggling with the marketing part, and that unfortunately is a very big part of being an independent artist, because you don't have a label to push you.
Right.
So that was definitely a big help for me, and I think it's helped push me into the right direction. And now I kind of am like getting my own grounding, and I kind of know where I'm going. But yeah, it was definitely a huge help.
Yeah.
So I think it just depends what you really want out of it.
For sure. Yeah. It might help you find that direction
Yeah.
that you might need. For sure. Yeah. Marketing is just such a personal brand, man. It's
Yeah.
just so important. And like, it's
I'm like, I don't know
not- yeah.
anything. I'm just the singer.
exactly, and you know that's why you know a lot of these, a lot of these artists for sure off rip just you know I'm not a business major. Like I like making beats and I like talking to a camera, and that's kind of it, you know.
Yeah.
So you kind of have to be manager, the publisher, the marketer, and the
Yeah.
talent, and you know everything all at once.
So many different hats. It gets overwhelming.
Yeah, and that doesn't really get talked about a lot, you know. Like it's really, especially on social media. Maybe up until recently, but a lot of it is just you see the final product and you're like, oh wow, this is so cool.
Yeah.
Oh wow, it's on all these playlists, but they don't know the work that goes in behind the scenes to make all that happen.
And not everyone has a team. I mean, like I have some people helping me.
Right,
Like
right.
one of the main people at the agency is his name Jordan. I've been working with him for a year.
Yeah.
I would say he's part of Team Izye, but
Hell
like
yeah.
I would definitely say I lead Team Izye for sure.
100%. Your name's all over. You got to
Yes.
be the leader. Yeah, it's. I think it's important to surround yourself with people that want to see you succeed. For sure.
Yeah.
So,
And genuinely believe in you too.
yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shout out my team. Shout out the people that have been.
Shout out Loco Moco's team.
Yeah. Shout out you. Hey, you guys know exactly who you are. One of them is here right now, just making it all happen with us and just killing it. So, but yeah, dude, that's awesome. Yeah, articles incredible, website's incredible. Your Selena incredible.
Thank you.
Album's going crazy. Let's go into something that's a little more personal.
Okay.
I know we just did talk. I know you just got a new job. Right? Congratulations.
Thank you.
Right now, before we get into a little bit of some like the finance stuff, are you currently making money off of your music?
LOL. That's my comment.
I feel that for sure. Dude. It's so hard to make money as a
Oh my
music
God.
right now. You know, like I feel like in like streams like are minimal. You know, like
oh my God.
They don't pay anything.
It's actually ridiculous, and like it's not even just the music industry. Like you've been seeing all these people come out with SAG-AFTRA, and like I've seen. I think it was someone. I can't remember which show, but it was like a really big '90s show. I think it might have been Full House, and like his cut check, he got like $0 one day or something like that.
Yeah, it's just the whole entertainment industry right now.
It's
writer's strike with everything going. I think they just finally. I think they got appealed or there's something, but even with that, like the fact that money is getting swindled out of the creatives' pockets is insane.
Yeah.
But let's dive into some of your day jobs. So I know, like, we want to make money within music, but for now we have to have a day job to support it. Do you work at a restaurant now? Is it another restaurant that you work at?
No, I actually don't work at restaurants anymore. No shade at all. That is really hard work. Yeah, it gave me an old woman body, and I am not even 23 yet. But yeah, like I said, it's really hard work, and I felt like I genuinely was drained, like mentally, physically, emotionally drained. Also just from like the part of the city I was working in. I was working in like West Hollywood, Beverly Hills area.
People are expecting like just comp people always on point. And
just the entitlement. And like not everyone's like that. That's not true because there are some really great people that come in that are super sweet. However, there are also some people that are not like that. Some bad apples, yeah.
Some bad apples for sure. And unfortunately, those are the ones that people remember most of the time.
Yeah. And I think I was just feeling not only stuck in my life, but I was feeling stuck in life. It was translating to my artistry. Yeah. And I was having really bad writer's block, and I was just feeling stuck in my music. And I was like, my biggest fear was that I would be like stuck at a restaurant job for the rest of my life, like hating my life, because my music career never worked out.
I feel that for sure.
I just was tired of that being my life. So I decided to just put in my 2 weeks. And when I put in my 2 weeks, I did not have a job. So I was really just taking like a leap of faith.
A leap of faith. This is pretty recently too.
This was really recent, yeah.
Got you.
And I'd been thinking about leaving my job for like the past year or so, but I was like, I need a new job. I can't just survive with no job,
right.
I'm
sure the money was decent too, working up in Beverly Hills.
It was, but it was costing me my mental and physical, like...
It's not worth it. It's not worth that.
Yeah. So I was like applying to these other jobs. None of them were working out. I was getting really discouraged. And eventually I put in my 2 weeks and I applied at this job, which is the place I work at now.
Gotcha, for sure.
Yeah, I went to New York, and while I was in New York, I got the call, and they were like, "We'd love to offer you the job. When can you start?" And I was like, "As soon as I'm back."
Exactly.
So
hell yeah.
Yeah.
That must have been like a pretty big weight off your shoulders then too. Like
it was because the job I'm actually starting to work in metaphysics now and in astrology, which is what I want to go into. Actually,
super cool.
I'm really interested in that. So yeah, I'm working at this store and I'm learning so much.
That's awesome.
I'm like, I didn't know that there were like different kinds of crystals and like they all have different usage for like the shape that they are.
I remember seeing something in your store you just got one. Yeah.
I got this giant pyramid one and I think it was orange agate, and I'm so sorry if I'm mispronouncing.
If you still have that photo, I'll throw it up.
I do have it. Yeah. But it's like this giant orange pyramid, and it's basically to help like the points are supposed to like project out creativity and block out any negative influences. And I was like, I'm putting this in my studio. I need the biggest one you have. And it was a fucking pyramid. So.
Yeah, perfect. Put it right on top of the speakers,
Yes.
wherever you got to put it. Yeah, I've never, personally, I've never really delved in deep into that, but I do really believe in the energy. Energy in general just like affects
Energy
your mood.
doesn't lie. And also metaphysics it's only based on patterns. That's all it is.
Yeah. So like just being like, especially days where like I'm feeling anxious or I'm feeling like a little bit sad or depressed, it's like whatever my creative flow just gets blocked. And so like I have to do something else in order to unblock it.
Yeah.
So, you know, if the crystals help, then that's super sick. That's super fire. Like I might have to invest in those.
It's not even just crystals. It's also like plants from the earth. And all of this stems from like indigenous people, you know, like Native Americans and also people like oh my God. Sorry, indigenous like Aztecs and stuff. Like they all use this stuff like Palo Santo, white sage, cedar, mugwort, like all these dragon's blood. You're probably like, what even is this? But
Christ,
yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah, it's really interesting actually.
No, I might have to dive deep in that because, yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of points in my life where I'm like, man, why do I feel like this? And like maybe these things can help bring me out of it. That happens. But yeah, thank you for sharing that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you. Now, as far as work goes, what's been I know back when you were working at the restaurant, it was hard for you to balance, or if you want to dive into it, like, what was that balance like between balancing music and work at the same time?
It was hard because, I mean, restaurant industry, the busiest days are weekends, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And unfortunately, those are also days when big events happen, big networking. And like Drew, for example, he'd be inviting me to all these events. Oh, come out with me Friday night. And I'm like, I can't, I have work. Right. And I'm going to be there until like earliest 10:30.
Right.
So, and like by that time, 10:30, I'm a grandma, okay? I don't understand people that are like, let's go get dinner at 9:30. I'm like, I want to be tucked in bed. Like, what do you mean?
Right. I want to be showered. Everything's washed. I'm in my pajamas.
I'm in my bed, hitting my pen, scrolling on TikTok. Like, what do you mean you guys are up and like wanting to drink and party?
That's that LA
such
lifestyle.
A homebody.
That's that LA lifestyle, man.
Yeah.
People just, they love just going out. And I can't, I live out here in Orange County. And so like the thought of like, I go out maybe a couple of times a month, and that's for me. Like I'm like, all right, that's good for me.
Yeah,
like,
same.
I'm solid with that. But yeah, the work balance is just something that's so hard to balance. It's just so hard to do properly.
I literally had like 2 days of the week that I would have time for music, and those days I'm usually like catching up on laundry, or like that's my first day of the week where I can just like be lazy.
Exactly, and just like have some time to yourself.
Yeah,
which I think is super important. Like just giving yourself a break from just everything. I think is super important.
Yeah,
I think people don't do that enough. I think there's like a toxic work ethic.
Oh yeah,
that gets preached and just on social media. Sleep when I'm dead type shit. Like, no, dude, like, take some time for yourself. Like, relax a little bit.
I'll admit, even I'm a little bit guilty of that. Like, I feel really, I guilt myself when I feel like I'm not doing enough. Even if it's literally like my first day to like sit down and just be a couch potato, I'm like, I'm not doing enough.
Dude, I'm saying, I think that's like a paradox for creatives.
I don't know how to relax.
Yeah, it's like I'll be sitting there and I'll see like people posting their music online. I'm like, I gotta do it too. Like I gotta get going.
I could be editing a video right now.
Exactly. What am I doing here? I'm just sitting on my bed.
I know.
And then just gonna beat myself up for it. It's just so hard because especially with social media now that we're all super connected, we can see what everyone's doing.
Yes.
It's hard.
So toxic.
But I think I've been going by this quote a lot. I said it in the last podcast, but I'll say it again because I think it's so powerful. The difference between like self-love and self-respect. Like self-love is recognizing and appreciating the progress you made, how far you've come, but self-respect is what actually gets the progress done.
I like that. That's cool.
Yeah, it's I've been trying to live by that recently. Just Because for a while it was so hard for me to distinguish between the two. Like, because people only respect you as much as you respect yourself. But like, where do I draw the line between self-love and self-respect?
Yeah.
But yeah, just like showing up for yourself, making sure that you make it happen. But yeah, dude, I think we're all just still working on kind of getting that balance down as well.
Yeah.
With this new job, have you been able to apply yourself more though? Has it made it a little bit easier?
I mean, I literally just started on Monday,
Oh,
and
gotcha.
Today's Thursday. So
Gotcha. Still super
I have
new.
my first full day tomorrow, but so far I feel like it's such a better fit for me.
Hell yeah. I'm happy to hear that.
And I
That's
feel
awesome.
like not that my coworkers didn't get, I didn't feel like they got me before.
Yeah.
I'm just, like, I'm not even, I feel like I'm so always trying to be like, oh, I have to like say the right thing so people don't get offended. But that's genuinely how I felt. I felt like no one there got me, and I was like the weirdo. And
Constantly
my
on your
whole
tippy
life, I've
toes.
felt like the weirdo who doesn't fit in. So
Right.
that was triggering my childhood trauma. I was like, get me out of here.
Yeah, I'm glad you found a spot though that can you can feel a little bit more at home though.
Yeah.
So that's incredible. I'm super happy for you. We'll have to do we'll do a follow-up episode. We'll see in like the next year or two, or maybe the next few months, see where you're at. But
Okay, I'm
that's
down.
incredible. That's incredible, dude. I'm so happy for you.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing that. Let's go
Yeah.
on to some tips and tricks. So obviously, the numbers speak for themselves, and music is great. Let's find some advice for some of these up and coming artists. Do you have any advice as far as songwriting goes?
As far as songwriting is, I know this is hard, but don't overthink it. I'm not even kidding you. Like, your songs, thing about music is everything's already been done. You don't need to think of a brand new way of how to do something because it's probably already been done. So just
Right.
do what comes to you naturally and don't fucking second guess it and overthink it.
Yeah, 100%. I think people just get so caught up in, like I have this issue too, is that I'll make a beat or I'll make a song and I'll just listen to it and listen to it and listen to it. And then every single time I listen, I'm like, these little imperfections here, there, and there. And the next thing you know, nothing's ever
Literally
coming
me.
out. Nothing's ever coming out because
Yeah,
I'm so
that's me.
hung up on it. But yeah, I think it's just like, make it, enjoy it for what it is. And just, I think if you enjoy it, there's someone else that's going to be enjoying it too.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with going back and being like, okay, how can I tweak this to make it fit a little better?
Right.
But that was like a big thing for me in music school is they told me that I wasn't writing correctly and the way I wrote was wrong.
And I hate that. I fucking hate that, dude. That is such a
And
weird...
they were like, you're too direct. And I'm like, but that's how I feel. I don't write like, the blue hummingbird touched my left knee and made me feel like I was like, I don't write like poetry like that.
Yeah.
And like, I would love to, but that's just not how I write.
I'm not trying to read between the lines.
And I
Exactly.
don't think there's a right or wrong way to write something or to create. It's all just
music
subjective.
is so subjective. So it's it doesn't matter. There's no rules, right? There's I think there's suggestions, but there's no rules.
even Ice Spice, like for example, her lyrics, I saw an interview with her. She's like, I never claimed myself to be a lyricist. I make it super easy and digestible so you don't overthink it. And
Exactly.
her music are freaking hits.
Hit
So,
after hit. I think
there
that's
you go.
I think that's a lot, especially like when I'm listening to that type of music, trap or just like rap, like I'm not trying to hear a message. Like, I'm not,
The message is in the vibe, guys.
bro, I'm trying to get fucking turned. Like I'm not trying to. I don't want to hear like you had to be spiritual. No, bro. I'm trying to not think about any of that shit right now. I'm trying to just get lit. But
Facts. If I want to be sad, I'll listen to some Bon Iver.
yeah, exactly, dude. Like
We're listening to Ice Spice right
does
now.
Bon Iver have a trap beat? Is it like
Bon Iver over a trap beat, though.
Like Lumineers. I'll listen to some Lumineers. so
Oh
I'm
my
getting sad.
God, yeah.
It's exactly. I think it's really important to know that just everything is subjective. Everything is, your creation. Don't overthink it.
Yeah.
It's a great way to put it. Now I know we're kind of going back to the initial topics, but were your parents always supportive of you when you started making music?
Yes. My dad is also very realistic.
Yeah, gotcha.
My dad was always like, I support you 100% and I back you. It's your decision. It's your life. However, it's going to be really hard.
Gotcha.
And my dad has been through a lot, very similar things. My dad came from a small town in Texas, like a border town.
There you go.
And my dad wanted to be a software engineer and go to a big college. And to where he's from, they were like, so you think you're better than us? Like, and my dad was like, no, I have this passion. And he went after it, and my dad had a lot of challenges along the way, but he never gave up. And my dad has accomplished a lot. And maybe he's not like, he's Elon Musk is gross, but like he may not be like Elon Musk level of fame, but like my dad has done a lot in his life that he's really proud of.
Yeah.
So my dad really was a big, and still is a big inspiration for me to just like, you can go through so much and still create a great life for yourself and succeed.
That is very well said. Shout out to all the dads, man.
I love you, Dad.
My dad's a huge inspiration for me too. He's because Asian family, it's not very traditional for their firstborn kid to be going after
music,
a music career. My sister,
I can only imagine.
Yeah,
they must have been.
It was a weird kind of conversation at first.
Yeah.
My sister's going to UCI. Very smart girl. So it's like, she's kind of fulfilling those college dreams for them.
Yeah.
But I think a big part of like just getting parent support was like, everyone showing how passionate you are. Showing the passion, and then also having a plan. Like you had, I'm sure like your parent, I'm sure your dad being, someone that's very oriented like that, probably wanted to see like, okay, like how are you gonna make this happen?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, I think that's super important. Because there's so many kids that are like, I want to do this. I'm like, all right, I hear you. How are you gonna do it? Right? And because my brother's in that same place right now, he's like, I want to be a YouTuber, and my dad's like, okay, how are you gonna make that happen? Like, what's the plan? He's like, oh, I don't know. I'm just gonna start. I'm like, okay, but come up with a plan, and then let's talk about it. I think that's I think for most parents, I think they just, number one, they want to see their kids safe.
Yeah.
And then 100%. Number two, they want to see their kids happy.
Yeah.
So, again, shout out to all the parents out there that want to see their kids succeed. So, that's real love for sure.
Y'all the real ones.
So real. Cool. And before I get into this next one,
yes.
How long have you been making music for? I know it's kind of late in the podcast for me asking this, but
oh my goodness. Let's see. Okay.
I know it's
well, I guess like it's kind of been a journey.
Sure.
So I guess like officially being like I'm gonna do music, it's gonna be my career, like at least 6 years.
Wow.
But
Gotcha.
like I said, it's been a journey.
Right,
like when I first moved to LA, I was not making the same music I am right now. I was figuring out what I wanted.
Sure. A lot of growth.
Yeah.
A lot of self-improvement as well, which is incredible. It's what everyone should be doing. But yeah, that's awesome. So through those 6 years and as well as the journey, what's been some of your strategies for staying motivated?
Yeah. Honestly, just pushing myself. There are some days where I go to the studio and I'm really not feeling it. I'm not feeling myself. I'm not feeling my artistry. I'm not even feeling the song I'm recording.
Yeah.
But just the fact that I went there and I showed up for the day, that's what matters.
It's the biggest difference between people that succeed and don't is that the people that succeed, they show up.
Yeah.
They show up even when they don't want to. Because it's easy to show up when it's, when you want to.
Yeah.
Right? Especially like, shout out Future Studios, by the way, for being the sponsor of this episode. But walking into a place like this, you walk in, you're like, wow, I'm ready to create something,
Yeah. This place is like, the vibes are immaculate. I wish we could give you guys like a tour.
I know, full tour, right? I know. It's like right now you only see the white background, but yeah, I'll show you the room. I know we kind of just jumped into it, but we'll do a little tour as well before
Please.
we go. But yeah, it's easy to day one when you're super motivated, it's super easy to come. But then, what about week two? Or week one, month one, year one.
What about week like 67?
Exactly, like down the road.
And you're like, oh my fucking God, like, am I ever gonna see anything? Like maybe I shouldn't do this. Maybe I'm not good enough. I've had so many days like that.
It's such a hard thing to go through, but we chose this. We chose this life, and we're gonna keep going for it. So
yeah.
That's awesome. I'm super excited to see what the future holds for you guys, for you and your team.
Thank you. I am too. Hope it's all good things.
100%. Let's go into the second to last segment. This one's a little bit more fun.
Let's do it.
But it's some of your dream collabs. So I know we talked about Pilo. We talked about some of those other people.
Oh my God. It's my dream to do I have the specific moment I discovered Pilo like engraved into my brain.
Yeah.
It was at junior prom and Blue Hunted started playing and
There
I
you
was
go.
like, what is this song? Oh my God.
What is that melody?
I started like shaking ass on the dance floor, like my junior prom, the most Bay Area shit I ever. We had like a yike train.
Yep. Yep.
But yeah.
Oh my God, so Bay
Yike
Area.
train, I know.
That's so Bay Area.
I know.
That's hilarious.
We were yiking in like 8th grade. Yeah.
Starting them young.
Yeah. Starting
But yeah, I can't hate, bro. There's a lot of crazy shit that happens out here too. So
definitely Pilo,
Pilo
obviously.
for sure is up there.
A big one for me would be like, oh my God, would be JoJo. Do you know who that is?
I saw her when I was reading through. I saw her as one of your inspirations, but I didn't get a chance to listen to.
She got her fame when she was like 13. You know, get out right now, it's the end of you, or right now it's a little too late. That's JoJo.
Hell yeah, that's super sick.
But she still does music.
Right. How old is she now?
Like in her 20s, probably, like late 20s.
Gotcha. Super.
Yeah.
Wow, she's been in it for a minute. Then.
Yeah.
It's like kind of like a Justin Bieber moment.
Yeah. And she's like struggled with addiction. Her label owned her rights in music for a while. She had to fight with that for a while.
It's that child star thing, man. It's terrible.
Yeah.
It's terrible. But super cool. So, Pilo, JoJo's, or anyone else that you're like off the top of your head, you're like, you know what, I would die for a feature with them.
I would die if I ever did a collab with Keisha Cole.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. That's super cool.
I think that would be a fun one.
Of course. Like, yeah, that would be incredible. I see that for sure. I see the collaboration for sure.
I would let her outshine me.
Yeah. Like,
it's Keisha Cole. Do your thing, girl.
Yeah. You'll be on the hook. She can have verses or whatever. She can do whatever she wants. That's awesome. That's hilarious. That's super cool. Hell yeah. Thank you for sharing that, man.
Yeah.
Now, sorry, I'm blanking, just dozing off right now.
No worries.
You're now. What do you have any like brands that you would like to collab with as well, or anything like that?
I do. I really want to work with Stizzy and do a Stizye stick.
Stizye.
And do like a custom little sleeve. You know how they have like the little sleeves you can put on your Stizzy? I want to do like a custom one.
Stizye is crazy. You already have the marketing, dude. That is.
I know. Stizzy, hit me up. Come on.
Dude, you got to create you got to get someone or even yourself to do like a mock-up, like just like a little sleeve or something you can put on it. That's awesome.
Wouldn't that be so cute?
Dude, like I don't even hit Stizzy like that, and I would buy one. That's good ass marketing. Stizzy is crazy. Stizzy is incredible. For sure. I could see that. I can even envision. I don't even know how you're envisioning it, but I can already envision it. So
yes,
that's awesome.
I'm excited.
That's super sick.
That would be like my dream one. That's the main one.
Yeah.
Maybe like an ice cream flavor, something sweet. Cause one thing about me is I love a little sweet treat.
Tiramisu flavored.
Why did I not think of that? Oh my God.
There you go. I need 50%.
Yeah.
50%.
Okay.
All right.
Deal.
Well, awesome. Izye, thank you so much for.
Maybe like a John and Vinny's collab with tiramisu.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. That's flying off the shelves. That's flying off the shelves for sure. Awesome. Well, Izye, thank you so much for sharing all that. We are coming towards the end of the show.
Oh no.
Yeah, I know. Before we go though, do you have any? I know we kind of teased a little bit. Do you have any upcoming projects you want to talk about? This episode's going to come out not tomorrow. It'll probably come out next week.
Okay.
So I don't know if there's anything you're allowed to talk about, or if you want to keep things under wraps.
Yeah. No, I'm actually releasing. It might be out by the time you see this. It's called YSL. I wrote, it's a silly, goofy song. I don't know. And there's also a music video coming with it. I'm super excited for.
Hell yeah.
And yeah, I might be working on a new project.
For sure.
So
stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
For sure. Izye, where can everyone find you on social media?
You can find me literally anywhere at I am Izye.
There you go. www.iamizye.com. Instagram, Twitter, everywhere. Awesome. Super sick. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, Izye, thank you so much for coming on to the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me.
And to everyone else still watching right now, go comment. What should they comment?
I got layers like a tiramisu.
Comment, I got layers like a tiramisu right now. I appreciate you guys for watching. I appreciate Izye for coming on. And that's it. Thank you guys for watching. Loco, Izye, out.
Peace.